everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be going over another Ohio Championship Qualifier match. In the last one, you saw my semifinal match in where I won, so I made it to the finals. And so today I'm going to be going over the other semifinals match to see who plays me at the Midwest Open for the Ohio Championship. This is between the 1-Dan, who is white, and a 4Q, who is black, and it's an even game. Yeah, let's go into it. You'll see that in this game, black actually has a better opening than white after a few joseki mistakes by white, starting with this lower left corner. So here, white has a few options. White can either stand up like this, and the purpose of this move is to put more pressure on the left side. However, white is leaving some aji on the bottom, whether black directly peeps or plays some move to prepare the peep. If white doesn't want those sort of aggressive moves, white can play a more passive move, but this move completely settles the white group. So again, it depends on your style, and I guess partially if you don't mind a black move somewhere here or the direct peep. In the game, though, white actually cuts, and this is just a mistake. Not really sure white's reasoning. If black goes here, then white gets an extra move in Zente. Black would have to take, and this would be, of course, good for white. But in the game, black smartly turns because there's no way for white to get more liberties than these 3 stones here. So white in the game stands up, and then black jumps there, perfect shape, and then white extends. So as opposed to just standing up like this, white didn't throw in a stone, so black's shape is not as perfect. It has a base, but there's still things you can poke at, maybe at b5. Even just haneing at e5 is a good move for white. But after what happened in the game, black is basically 100% alive, and yeah, so black's very happy with this result, getting the corner with b2, and also getting a solid group and sente. So already white fell a little bit behind. Black invades the corner, sure, very trendy nowadays, and white blocks, stands up, and black pushes, white hanes. And here, white extends immediately. Usually, you want to leave this because sometimes you don't know what you want immediately. Because after this joseki in the upper left, or I guess since the joseki hasn't finished, the sequence in the upper left, white has some options white can choose. Maybe later, white wants to hane and maybe cut, or double hane, or some other myriad of options. These are the most common, though. And maybe sometimes white just wants to extend. But once you choose what you want, of course, now white can't choose a different option. So that's why usually you want to leave it until you know what you want. My guess is white didn't want black because white made black so strong on the lower side. Maybe white didn't want to see black starting to build the left side there. So getting this move here meant, okay, even though I've used up the aji there, I can't change what I do later, I've limited your left side. So in that regard, I guess that makes some sense. Of course, this would be much better if white hadn't played the c4 stone, giving black a perfectly alive group. Again, so black scoops up the corner now in sente. Remember, at this point, white has sente, but white chose to finish the joseki, and so black got sente again. So black approaches the upper right. White attaches under. This is the most common joseki you'll see nowadays, and it makes sense. The corner is pretty large. In most cases, you'll get sente too, which white does. And white pincers, or not pincers, just approaches, preparing to invade at m17, and black very smartly jumps. And you can see h17 here is very close to white's wall. So, yeah, that's why maybe white didn't want to extend here, because now white has a 6 stone high wall and only extended 3. And then white extends at n3. So this is a interesting point in the game where it's actually very difficult to find the next move. And the reason is, if you go by just generic logic as you're trying to find your moves, you want to play the big points first. And so you would think, okay, the right side is the next big spot. It's actually very difficult for both sides to find the best move there. And the reason is, after this upper right Joseki, it's very hard for white to get a lot of points because of this low position. And if you look at the lower right, Shimari, black played a very low position here too. It's just hard to build this right side. So it's very difficult to find the next move here. I will say one thing. Maybe white, this is a very calm move. And, maybe white's thinking, okay, maybe this opening hasn't been the best by me. I am 4 stones stronger than my opponent. I could just play, standard moves, and I can catch up. But if we disregard the rank difference and just assume black and white's probably has to do something a little more aggressive or even just faster. So I would recommend attaching directly. When you play here, you're getting less of this area, and it's gote. When you play a move like this attachment, black will probably answer. Black Hanes, you can see you're actually getting more of the bottom, but you're doing it in a more forceful way. And when you attach, you do lose potential Aji, but because black played a very low Shimari, right? This Shimari is considered, this is black's corner. Black gets 12 points. So we're okay with attaching to it because we can't really expect to get in there any deeper. So I would recommend white attaching here. But white goes there, kind of playing very calmly. And so black plays here. And the idea for this move is if white goes anywhere, this extension here works very nicely with this stone that black played at R9. It's threatening to peep at S15. It's threatening to come out at P13 and kind of seal white into the corner. And it's, of course, getting black points. So white didn't like that. And so as white, I would simply just extend here. Again, take my points. And because black extended with 3 lines, I'm threatening to invade at R7. But white, even though white was so calm at this move, all of a sudden, when black played here, white just threw in. And so this is very poorly timed. And the reason is, the points here for white, there isn't really much gain, right? If you imagine white surrounds the points here, what is white surrounding? Just a few points there? Not even 1 point? So if black just maybe extends here, what is white gaining if white jumps out? Right? All white has is just a weak group that's running towards the center. So that's why I would like to prepare first by going here. And maybe if black fixes, then I would go elsewhere. Or maybe play a shoulder hit, some sort of light move to reduce it from the outside. But jumping in immediately is way too early. Just way too early. And for black, here, because it's hard to find, I like the move black chose on the right side here, but because it's hard to find the next move, I would consider playing this sort of capping move. Again, it's starting to make white's area here much smaller, plus wherever white goes next, this sort of peeping move is very ugly for white, right? White probably has to connect here, and even if black jumps, you can see white in the upper left is very unhappy. So yeah, I would recommend this move. I'd recommend this move. But I also like black's move, so both are okay. White comes in, black jumps, sure, and white jumps. And here, black plays a very nice move. And just splitting white, leaning on the bottom to attack the right side stones. And in general, when you want to attack, you don't want to attack directly. You want to attack from afar. And so if we see these white stones on the right side here, where are their closest allies? Of course, they're on the bottom. So if we can threaten the bottom, which, again, maybe there is some Aji on the bottom to invade later, but more likely, white's going to just get the bottom. So I'm okay with, touching the white stones on the bottom to get some strength to face the right side. If white Answers on the right side, though, then I start to reduce the bottom. So this is my profit. I'm not trying to kill the right stones on the right. I'm just looking for some profit. So being able to reduce the bottom would be my profit. So I like this move, and black should just extend here. Just keep separating white. Keep separating white. However, black plays probably black's first big mistake in the game of this peep. So this peep, one, doesn't really help black, and it only makes white stronger. For example, maybe black wants to peep from this way, so black's able to run faster towards the bottom. But once black peeps here, that Aji is gone. Black can never peep here again and can never get more speed towards the bottom. So whenever there's any sort of peeps, especially with a one-space jump, but whenever there's any sort of peeps, you have to make sure that's what you want. Kind of like in the upper left Joseki. White had to make sure that extending at C13 was the Joseki white wants. Same thing here. Black needs to make sure that this peep is the peep that black wants. Because again, maybe black wants to peep from this side, or even later, maybe black can wedge. So unless you have a very good reason to do this peep, don't peep. And so we can see white connects, and black just extends, which the extension is fine, but one, black should just keep up the pressure by going here, but also black can just extend. This exchange that black made in the game didn't help black at all. It actually made things worse for black. So white goes here. This is a very common technique to try to get some forcing moves to set up a base, but it's also making it so black cannot simply connect under. So white's trying to do both those things. So white attaches, and this sort of sequence, or this kind of starting move, is very common. And the one thing you do not want to do, I would say 99 out of 100 times, is capture the stone. That is exactly what white wants. Because let's count how many forcing moves white gets when you try to cut. And this is what black does in the game. So white gets that move in Sente. So black has to try to capture the stone now, so black Ataris, but white gets this move in Sente. So that's two moves. Okay, black fills. And then white gets this move. This move is not as much Sente because the corner's still alive, but assuming black wants to keep the pressure on, black's going to take, so white doesn't get an eye. So white got 3 Sente moves, 3 forcing moves, and all black got was a captured stone. So a few points. So that's why, in general, you do not want to capture. This is what white wants. So usually you just Hane. Notice if white pulls back, you have Sente. You've kept most of the corner. Maybe there's some Aji with the clamp, but even if you can just see, even if you connect, white hasn't really gained much. White doesn't get that much forcing moves. But again, you don't even have to connect. You could just do something else. White should just clamp. And again, if you do this, this is what white wants. It would just transpose into the other variation. So instead, you just connect like this. And again, you're not giving white forcing moves. That's the key. If you want to give white even less forcing moves, you just pull back. Even though white gets this extra push here, now white spent 2 moves, so white's more likely going to save. And now, again, you have Sente, and white hasn't really gotten any forcing moves. So, in general, when they attach here, do not capture. It's the trap. Do not go after this stone. But black did, and so white got a ton of forcing moves. And again, the gain for black is very minimal. So white comes under. This move is playable, but after black has already lived, I think just connecting back as white is more reasonable. But I think this move's okay too. Black covers, white pushes. Yep. And so black pushes, and so you can see black's able to continue attacking white here. Now black doesn't Hane. I'm not really sure why. Again, white is not alive here, so why not keep the pressure on? I will also note that white cannot cut here because black can Atari this way. So these 2 stones are connected. So white can cut here, but you just simply cut and then just extend. You can see that no problems for white. or no problems for black. So, yeah. Not sure why black pushed once and then left it. But black goes elsewhere. This is probably the next biggest move, starting to make the upper right area for black pretty large. Of course, push once. Yeah, and black pulls back, but I feel like black has to just cover. Just cover. Even if white cuts, you just Atari once, and then extend, something like this. And again, white's very deep in black's moyo there with not much friends nearby. But black pulls back, and white plays this nice move. As opposed to cutting directly, this is a much calmer move, but it is preparing to cut, because now if white cuts later, now white has a friend nearby with this M9 move. So white's preparing to cut there, and black jumps. Black seeing that, okay, if I protect somehow, then when white comes in here, now white's building the bottom. So black wants to reduce that. And I think that move's okay, but I think just making the tiger's mouth is better. White really can't resist that much. And black shape is perfect here. Yeah, black shape is perfect. So, yeah, just make the tiger's mouth. Just make the tiger's mouth. And yeah, this move's very passive. As white, I would peep the shape and then just like cut here. Something like this. Again, black really can't jump in too deep. And even if black does, maybe something like this, white just protects and black still can be cut, right? Black isn't connected yet. And remember, white cut here, so black really doesn't have time to play on the bottom when there's a cut here. But white plays very passively. And then black extends. And then white cuts, yes. So black needed to see the connection between this move and the cut here. Because again, if white had cut directly, there's no real friends nearby. But now that white had played the knight's move, now the cut is much more dangerous. So white cuts. Black Ataris. Yep, black just simply Ataris. And then white plays an invasion. Yeah, I'm not sure what the plan is here for white. So if black just Hane's under, I'm not sure how this attachment here helps white. Yeah, if white just extends up, black just fixes. Maybe like this. And yeah, nothing's really helping white here. At least that I can see. So black played a very passive move of just letting white connect. Like that. Black descends. White Ataris. And white saves. White saving might be a little small, although it does give white some eyes here. So maybe it's good, but here, like these two stones don't matter that much. White should just go elsewhere. Yeah, black cuts. And Ataris. And then black actually pushes and cuts. So this actually just does not work. This is just a blunder. White can Atari this way. Again, black has to connect, but then white can cut this way. And black can't escape on this side. And if black tries to escape on this side, there's just no hope. Just to show you the other way, if black tries to go here, white can strongly just double Hane. And even though there's these Ataris here, it won't lead anywhere. Yeah. So this is just a mistake by black, but white didn't see that, so white just Ataris this way, very passively, and black actually swallows those center stones. So what's interesting is if white was afraid of this cut, which it looks like white was, right? Like why would white go this way if white wasn't afraid of the cut? White should not play this initial knight's move here. Because, of course, when you run in the center with knight's moves, you can be cut. So if white didn't have a good answer to this move, white had to play something different. Just do something like that. So, again, the knight's move is good because white can capture, but if white didn't see that capture, then white shouldn't play it. Yeah. So, jump. Sure. Yeah, and here, this is a asking move by white saying, okay, are you going to let me connect or are you going to let me come in? And here black should just cut white. Again, if white jumps in deeper, like where is white running to? White is so deep in black's area that it's impossible. Should be impossible, I should say. It's very difficult for white to live locally. But black passively just plays back and letting white connect. Yeah, look how many points that is all of a sudden. All black needed to do was just do this. Even once. If white comes back now you've reduced white a little bit. Now you can come back. Look how big of a difference that is compared to here. Look at that difference, right? Just by threatening first, you can reduce. So now white actually made a ton of points there. Black plays a nice move to reduce. White jumps. And black protects the center by playing Tengen. And then white defends. So now all of a sudden we are in endgame. At least that's what I thought. But as you can see, most of the big areas are taken up. All the fights are over. So yeah, it's just whoever gets to the biggest areas. So black descends, threatening to come in. And then white plays this very, a very deep move here. So the proper response to this is to go here. Because regardless of which way white goes, you just wedge. So if white goes this way, you just wedge. Or if white goes that way, you can... you can just Hane maybe. Maybe white gets in a little bit, but you actually gained a lot here on the top. So if white goes this way, then you can wedge this way. And you can see white has to protect here, and now white really hasn't gained that much territory there. So in the game, black just descends, which is probably okay. All black needed to do, though, was just extend here. If black didn't want to fight a ko, and then can go elsewhere. Again, have kept the majority of the area, and by descending, you actually threaten the monkey jump. So it's not just like, oh, white's taking out my points on the top. When black descends here, black's also threatening to take away white's points. But black Hanes, white cuts, black Ataris, and then black plays a very bad move of connecting here. This is so bad. Because white just captures and makes opponent keep. Instead, black needs to just fight this ko. This one here. Even though black has to make the first ko threat, black does have some threats. Mainly in the upper right. This kind of move to threaten the whole upper right corner is very real, I guess. It's very big. And depending on how white answers, black might get more ko threats. So it's a tricky move for white to answer. So black just needed to fight the ko. But black just gives it up, and now black gains nothing. Black threatens to go there. This move's a little passive by white, but it's probably okay. Like, I think white can just go here. And if black tries to live here, like, white can keep threatening to make eyes in that area. White just goes there, and black connects. And white peeps even. And then black covers their area. So yeah, you can see black really lost a lot here. So there was no... If black didn't want to fight the ko, black should not Hane. And now white wedges. So this move just doesn't work. It's a nice idea, but black can just connect here, and there's no ko. Like, even though white can cut, black can just Atari this way, and yeah, just connect back. So what did black do? Black connected here, and this made the ko. So black just needed to not play this move, and black's okay, but black played the wrong move. Even black can take the ko first. Yeah, you should basically always take the ko first to make your opponent use a ko threat. But black went there. That's a mistake, because now it's a real ko. So white Ataris, black answers, and then white extends. So yeah, now this is tricky. Black goes there. Actually, So is this even a ko now that I'm looking at it? So if black just extends, all black needs is 3 liberties. So once black gets to go here, it's not a ko anymore, actually. So if white takes, black has 3 liberties. So black can actually just go here, and there's no ko now, because instead of fighting the ko, black can just Atari instead. So there's not even a ko after this. So black should just answer any of white's ko threats. Yes. But what black does is when white makes a ko threat, he plays incorrectly and actually just loses the corner. So not only did black misplay a ko that wasn't really a ko, he also lost the corner. So this was very big. Yeah, and again, black hanes, but black, you can just... At this point, I'm guessing black thinks black needs to do this to win, which kind of makes sense. But it's very... it's very hard for black. It's very hard for black. Yeah, here, black... Yeah. At this point, the game... White's gained too much on the top. White got the lower left again. It's too far... too much loss for black, so... Yeah, and there's one more thing that happens in this game. White captures there, black cuts. And I think the time settings for this game was either 30-minute main time or 40-minute main time, something like that. It was the same as my my qualifier matches, but black is definitely in Byoyomi at this point, I'm pretty sure. So that's where we'll see the next black mistake. Yeah, so here, monkey jump, if you can't get the monkey jump in sente, so notice even though black got the monkey jump, it's not sente, the better move is to do this one, play the shorter monkey jump, because there's no way for white to play. If white answers locally, there's no way for white to play to get sente. So if white does this, you don't have to answer, right? If white doesn't answer, though, then you can go a little bit further. So if you can't get the monkey jump in sente, do the short monkey jump. Notice black didn't do that, so now black got gote, and white can go wherever white wants. White connects. Black goes there. White pushes. Hane. Push. Black attaches. Sure, black's reducing the center. White comes down. Hane. Empty triangle, but reducing black, so it's okay. Black connects. White goes there, and then black extends up. So yeah, this is just a mistake. White can cut, and if white does Ataris, there's nothing. Right, white can't cut here, but instead white can throw in once. And now, yeah. Now white can take. So what started out as a very good game for black, just as white predicted, white was just able to catch up in the fighting. But yeah, just they do actually go to counting, and white wins. But yeah, so this means I got to play white in the finals at the Midwest Open, and that actually is my dad. So I get to play my dad in the finals of the Ohio Championship finals at the Midwest Open. So I'm super excited for that, and look forward to the review of that game too, because that game is pretty crazy. That game's pretty crazy. But yeah, if you have any questions about this game, please let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video.